Hi, so for this video, we're going to look at understanding the Propseed file. So you may have noticed in your options, in your file location section, there's all sorts of different things on here. So this Propseed file allows us to go and customize the properties and give us a list of custom properties that we can either add to a part or can be automatically added to a part when we create one. So this file looks something like this. So this is our one. You should be able to find the standard one and you can go and copy it depending on how long you use Solid Edge. You might have this 2006 one. There's also a 2001 going around. So for this, we've got two sections. We've got our standard property section at the top. So this allows us to go and create what we call either a drop-down list or a list of values for the normal standard properties that every Solid Edge file has got. So you'll recognize title, category, keyword, project, the standard options. So you can see on here we've got different kind of options. So we've got our title list, our category with the different options, what our category, our keyword, which has got different options in there. These are all customizable and we can go and change these to anything we want. We can go and change these on here. So we can go and set this to default. So that's going to obviously going to be default on there. Project list. So we've got these different project names and we can put our default one. These can be customized. So once you go and create a project, we can easily go and copy and paste and go and change whatever number that project wants to be on there. So we've got a current one. So these ones just means that we've got these in our list of values. When we get to the custom property section, this has got a slight extra option that allows us to do this required option. So this required option does a couple of different things. So by being required, this automatically pushes this property into your custom properties. So if we go and create a new part, we're going to see project number, we're going to see material spec. Item type and status are still there, but they need to be added manually. That also means that these properties are going to be asked for. If we've got an existing part and we go into our file properties, new on Solid Edge 2022, if we click apply and we haven't put something in the project number and material spec, it's going to give us an error and say we need to go and put a value in these before we can apply and close the properties on there. If we're running data management, it will also mean that this will be required before we can go and save that new part on there. So when we create a custom property, we've got all of our different options. So we've got project number, item type, item status, material spec I've got on here. So we've got all sorts of different options we can do on there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and create a new one. So for this one, I'm going to define, I'm going to do color. And then we're going to use a semicolon. This is going to be text. And this is going to be unrequired for the moment. And then we can go and create our section. So each of these sections is defining what the options we've got. So all these options in here, so these ones from the top two and the bottom two, those are the options that we have in our list. And then those are the options that we're going to have in there. And then again, I've got this item list type on here. The difference is that this item type could be required if I needed to on there. So if I want to go and create a color version, what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy one of the smaller ones of these, tends to be the best bet on there, and then make sure you leave a gap between those two. So, and then we're going to go and paste our color in there. So we've got color. So begin color. And then we can go and pop our colors in there. And we could do this to as many different options as we need on there. Okay. And then default on there. So for that one, I'm going to go and set that to, see we've got a slight issue on there. So I'm just going to go and correct that while I'm looking. So we need that little semicolon at the end on those. Default equals, I'm just going to go black on there. And then that's going to end that color section. So we've now got that little section and we're going to go and save that file. So I'm just going to drag that file and I keep that open so we can go and do that. So if I now go and do a new Solid Edge file, so I'm just going to do Control N and go and choose a standard part template. So remember on that list we had required was project number and material spec. So if I now go into my file properties, we can do this from the data management tab, or we can right click on here as well and get to file properties, and I've got a shortcut on there, so I'm just going to use this option. This is the new file properties option that we've got in here. So we can see that we've got some file properties on there. So I've got item type, material spec, project number, and item status. These ones are probably in there because these are already attached to the template. So if you go into your standard part template and go and add these items, so if I go and add color on here, so if I go and choose that, find color, that's the option that we've got, and then we can go and specify what color that's going to be on that. We've got those items, and if I apply that, that's going to do those checks. We've got those values in those, so we're happy with those. We're then going to go and close that. If I go and open a default template, so if I go and just choose on the ISO standard part template, if you've used Solid for a while, you'll know that we tend to get 2 custom properties in these. So they're already there, mass and or accuracy and density. But notice we've only got the material spec and project number. These were both required. So if we want all of those items required, so we don't need to go and right click and go and add those additional options. So we want color, item status, and item type to appear in every new file that we create. So I'm just going to come back out of those files, and I'm going to go and drag this back over. So we can go and add this required to all of these. So if I go and copy this and paste and paste and paste, so we've got 5 options. So that means that every file we open is going to go and add these file properties in there. So we're going to go and save that. We're going to come back out. Again, I'm going to do a new. I'm going to choose it from the standard templates again, because we know that we haven't got any of our my 1PLM properties in there. And that's going to go and create that part. If I then go to my file properties on there, we can see that we've got those options, and it's requiring all of those options on there. So the one thing that is annoying is that material spec hasn't pulled up anything. So I'm just going to double check that material spec. So default equals 0, 0. So I'm just going to change this to change me. And I'm going to make this look a little bit more professional as well. So we're just going to do spec 01, spec 02, spec 03. So I could be referring to a company design standard, for instance, on there. So we can do that. I'm just going to go and move that back off. So if we go into our material spec, we'll notice that hasn't picked that up. So I'm just going to go and change that to one of those for now. Apply. Notice it's telling us that we've got other options. Kind of the same change in enter missing values for the item status, item type, and project number. So notice on these we've got these different options that we can go and change these to if we need to on there. Okay. So color we haven't changed yet. And item status, need to define that as well. Okay, now we've done that, we can go and close that file. So if I then go and save that, so notice I've got Solid Edge data management. I've now got these options in here because we need these options. So if I hadn't gone and applied those, we can go and see these options. This has now picked up these different options. So maybe this is going to be a machining part, status, this is going to be in work. We've got our practice part on there. So I'm just going to do an auto fit just so we can see that. So we do seem to be missing our color list. So what we can do is go to our columns options and go and see if we can find out why we haven't got that color list on there. So I'm probably going to have to just save this and go back out and go back into this. So I'm going to auto assign my part number, validate that, and then save that location on there. Okay, so we didn't have that color option. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to my options. So this is if we've got data management on. So, and I'm going to go into my manage section. and then we're going to view our custom properties. So on here we can see we've got our options, but we haven't got our color option. So that's why it's not coming up. So if I go set custom properties, that's going to go and find that color option. And hopefully we're going to get that color option appear on there. So I'm just going to do that again. Set custom properties, it's looking at our Propseed on there. And we've got our category 1, category 2, item status, item type, material spec, project number, supplier part number. So it's picked up those items from these templates, but it hasn't picked up color yet. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to go and rebuild the index before we can do that. So I'm just going to make sure that that is all good. Make sure that our file is actually saved. So I'm just saving our Propseed file on the side. Okay, so there we've got all of our items in there. Okay, so hopefully that gives us a rough idea. So we should get the same kind of stuff. So if I go into an assembly, we should get the same kind of thing. So if we go into there, if we've got the required properties, the required properties are going to already be there, and it's going to be asking us for those properties. So we've got all those items with the drop downs. Notice where we had this category option, we've got those options on there, and the other kind of things that we can kind of have a look at in there with the different options. So we can go and set those, apply, make sure that we go and apply those previous options. If we close it, we can always do it without changing it. And then when we do our save, that's going to give all of our options. So now we've got all of our required options on there. So while we click validate, it's going to come up and tell us, it's going to give us a list missing the value of all those options. So we can do assign all there, and we can go and specify what these items are. So spec 1, let's go and do our color. Let's go and do our option on there. We're going to validate that. Go back to there. So can't check the uniqueness. It's just be down to the location, but fine with that. And then we'll go and save that file in there. And if we go back to our data management and choose our file properties, we'll see that we've got all of those options on there. And we've got these other kind of options that we can do that aren't required. So remember, the required are always in the custom, and the other ones are always in there. If any of these are required, we can't go and remove them. If we do want to remove them, we'd need to go back to our Propseed file, and this would then allow us to go and remove that required option. So if I close that, so that's needing some kind of item type on there. So let's just go and change that one. Okay, and if I go back and change my Propseed file on there and go and remove these options for required. So I don't want that to be required. Item status, I definitely want required. Project number I need, and item type I need. So once we've done that, we can save, close, and then save that file, and then go back into our file properties. These options are now available for us to go and remove. So I don't want that one, and I don't want that one. We can apply, close, and then reopen our properties. And we're not going to see those properties on there, but if we did want to go and add those, we can see the options that we can then go and add if we need to. So it's all about setting those in the templates. If you don't want to be adding those, if there's ones that you need to add to certain file types, go and set those in the templates and have those as non-required options. Okay, hopefully that's been useful.